I wrote this book because I feel that investing is a life skill that, everybody needs to learn. Not just people who want to be fabulously wealthy, but even the average family who wants to protect what they have and to have a comfortable life. Because we know the importance of financial security and financial freedom. But the trouble is that nowadays you can work very hard in a job and you can earn a decent salary, but you find that at the end of it, you have hardly enough left for retirement. And that's because inflation is rising so much faster than people's income. What used to cost $80,000 for a 4-room flat now costs $400,000. So the average person finds that they are struggling financially. And so when they attempt to make a bit more money, they hear advice from friends, they listen to rumors and they buy stocks, they buy gold, they buy property. And sure, some of them get lucky and make money. But the vast amounts of people don't get lucky. They lose a lot of money and they feel so overwhelmed. What should I do? And it's because they've never learned how to invest and they treat the stock market or investing as a casino. And that's the wrong way to look at it. Yes, of course, when we all start investing, we make all the mistakes because good investing is actually counterintuitive. So I first started investing when I was 18 years old. I started with my mother's CPF money, and at that time people said she was either very stupid or very brave. I think I was in between the two. And I made the common mistake of buying the cheapest stock that I could find in the newspapers at the time. At the time there was no internet. And the cheapest stock was 3 cents. And I thought if it's so cheap, it can only go up. And I bought the stock at 3 cents. It eventually went to 2 cents, 1 cent, and got delisted. And I lost everything that I put in. And so I learned that first lesson, don't just buy cheap stocks, because normally cheap stocks are of lousy companies. So I thought, okay, great. Buy good companies. And normally good companies, their share prices are a bit higher. But then again, I made mistake after mistake after mistake. I bought good companies of higher share prices, but they went down. And I said, that doesn't make sense. Why is a good company going down? And so I learned the next lesson, which was the stock market is not always rational, but the stock market is emotional. You don't have to just understand the logic behind the company you're investing in. You have to understand the emotions of the market. So that's when I learned how to invest and how to read trends, investing on the uptrends and knowing how to avoid downtrends. And then I still made some more mistakes. And I said, why is it I buy a company and I make money, but whatever I made, I lose it later on? And it's because I learned the lesson of knowing when to sell is just as important as knowing when to buy. So I was going through all these lessons, all these mistakes that I created the greatest breakthroughs in understanding how the stock market actually works. And that is why today I managed to formulate all these strategies to make everything back and a whole lot more and be able to achieve so much in the market. And the good news is when I teach people in my courses, they don't have to go through that same 20 plus years of experience. I tell them that what I'm teaching them in these few days or in this book is a condensation of what I've learned in 20 years. So they really get to cut short their learning curve and to achieve success a lot faster than I did. And I focus not just on what to buy, but more importantly, what to buy, how much to buy, when to buy, and when to sell. The 4 tenet keys of successful investing. So a lot of people only like to get stock tips. What should I buy? What should I buy? And they may get a great stock tip from a great guru and still end up losing money. And you wonder why? It's because again, they bought the right stock but at the wrong time. Or sometimes they bought the right stock at the right time, but they sold it at the wrong time. So out of 100% of a person's investing success, knowing what to buy, as in buying the right company, the right stock, is only 20% of success. And that really depends on what we call fundamental analysis, making sure it's a good business with good profits and low debt, for example. And most books actually focus on that, all right? But knowing how much to buy is rarely focused on. Knowing how much to buy is 10% of your success. And that's got to do with what we call risk management. Because if you buy too much of a certain stock and you get it wrong, you lose everything. But if you buy too little of the stock and it goes up, you don't make enough, all right? The next one is knowing when to buy. So knowing when to buy is all about market timing, and that's reading the emotions of the market using technical analysis, writing what we call the trends, and that accounts for 30% of your success. But the 40% of your success, the biggest chunk, is knowing when to sell. And again, that depends also on market timing, knowing when trends change from an uptrend to a downtrend. For people who want to start investing, one of the most important advice I can give is an advice that I got from Warren Buffett through one of his books, which is the greatest investment that you can make is first an investment in yourself. So in other words, before you invest in stocks or property, invest in your own education, because that will give you the highest return on your investment. I'll tell you a story. Many years ago, I've been running my Wealth Academy program now for the last 8.5 years. And I had someone who came for one of my previews about 6.5 years ago, right? And he didn't sign up. And he said, Adam, all these things you're teaching, I can learn it myself. I can go and read books, I can experiment, I can do that. And I said, fine, you can learn it yourself, no problem. So he went off. And about 3 to 4 years later, he came back and he attended a course. And I happened to remember him and I said, hey, didn't you come for the preview many years ago? And he said, yeah, I came about 4 years ago. And I said, so you took so long to decide to come? He said, yes. I said, what made the difference? And he said, I lost a lot of money, right? And he attempted to invest on his own and he lost over, $300,000 during the crisis. And he was so upset and he said, I have to come and make it back. And I looked at him and said, don't worry, I'll help you to make it back and a lot more. But then I asked myself, I said, if he had learned this so much earlier, not only would he have not lost that money, he would have made so much money during that period, knowing how to, again, short the market and get out when the market went on the downtrend. So many people are what we call penny wise and pound foolish. They don't want to invest in themselves thinking, I want to save some money, but in the end, they make the biggest mistakes because they don't educate themselves the right way. So please educate yourself before you step foot into the world of investing.